Hi guys, so this is Brit, Brat, and Tat. This is my first trimester weeks 1 through 7 video. So obviously I didn't know I was pregnant through these weeks, and so I'm going to kind of tell you how I found out I was pregnant and stuff. So first of all, I was having like these really weird, really weird cravings, which is, I think, part of what really tipped me off first. Like, in some of my other videos, I mentioned hot sauce on cake. That is actually the first really weird craving that I got, and me and Taht was at our house, and I told him, I was like, hey babe, I'm really craving hot sauce on cake, is that weird? And he's like, yeah, that's kind of weird, babe. And I was just like, well, maybe we should get a pregnancy test. And he's like, alright. So we went and got one, and we was going to his mom's house for the weekend, so we just kind of decided that we'd postpone it and take it when we got back and not worry about it for the weekend. So we get up there, and it was like morning, and his mom was making breakfast, and she had like cereal and this and that, and she was just like, well, you know, eat whatever you want, hon, and and all that, you know. So I was just like, well, I really don't find anything that appealing, you know. And she's like, well, just, you know, you can make yourself whatever you want out of the fridge. So I ended up eating a really weird concoction that morning. It was like, I ate cottage cheese with like pepperoni, and it had like green olives and jalapenos and buffalo sauce all mixed in. Let's see, what else? I don't know, there was something else weird mixed in with it. But it was shredded deli turkey. And I like mixed it all together, and as disgusting as that sounds, I loved it. And I ate like the entire thing, and his mom was just like, are you sure you're not like pregnant or something? And I was like, no, I don't know what you're talking about, you know. I'm just eating really weird stuff, you know, this is just the way I am. Because, you know, growing up, I was just a really weird eater. Like, my favorite pizza is the anchovy, you know. So I was just like, oh no, whatever, it's just one of my weird things, you know. But she made me kind of nervous because I had already had the pregnancy test in my bag, and then she said something too, so I was like, So when I got in the shower, I decided, I was like, well, I'll go ahead and take this and just, you know, see what it says. I'm sure it'll be negative, you know. So I take it, and the bottom line shows up, and I'm like, that line doesn't normally show up. And I was like, well, you know, the top line probably won't show up. It's probably just a faulty test, you know. And then the top line showed up, and I was like, it's positive. So I like yelled for his sister. I was like, oh my gosh, come up here. And she's like, what? And I was like, it's positive. And she's like, oh my god. So we like yelled for Taht, and he came up there, and I was like, oh my god, babe, it's positive, I'm pregnant. And he's just like, I already knew. And I'm like, what? And he's like, I already knew. And I'm like, really? That's it? Like, you already knew? And he's like, yeah, babe, it was pretty obvious. And I was like, oh, okay. Sure. But, so then we had to tell his mom and, you know, the rest of his family and all that, and they're all excited, you know, because it's their first grandkid, and they're just like, oh my god, you know. So, let's see. So then I went ahead and called my doctor and set up a doctor appointment, which they gave me for like 2 months later. So that was like horrible having to wait on that, because just like this whole time I'm like, well, I don't know how far along I am. I don't know, you know, what I should be taking. I don't know what I should be eating, you know. So I was like freaking out, because I was just like, oh my god, like I have to wait a whole 2 months to find out all this information. So I was like constantly like looking through books and going online and being like, oh my god, should I eat this, you know, should I eat that, like what am I supposed to avoid, you know, stuff like that. And I started going to baby classes, which was really helpful. So I set those up, and they kind of, you watch a video and they kind of show you what your body's going through and what's good for you and what's not good for you and stuff. So those helped a lot on easing my mind until I got to the doctor. And, you know, he told me I was just like 6 weeks along and it, you know, I was fine. So, yeah, that was pretty much first trimester, weeks 1 through 7. So